First of all, I'd like to say welcome to everybody. It's a wonderful turnout, and it's exceeded my expectations, really, because we have every element of the pilot and indeed the new COPA project in the room, which is wonderful. So we have all kinds of beneficiaries, from the people that we've helped, the volunteers who've been recruited and trained to help them, the local cancer champions who have provided such a sterling service in helping advise and advise on the direction of the local projects as they've unfolded. The national cancer champions, we have them in the room as well, who've done a fantastic job supporting me in particular and advising us nationally on directions to take. And of course Macmillan and Macmillan staff and Big Lottery. I think the main thing I want to focus on this afternoon in my presentation is that of partnership. This whole project has been about partnership. Whether we're looking at the Big Lottery Silver Dreams team, who have provided encouragement and support to OPAL throughout the pilot, and indeed throughout the very onerous process of applying for and securing the £1 million. Macmillan Cancer Support have always been there for us, right from the word go, and we've enjoyed increasing levels of support from Macmillan, both nationally and locally, and look to expand and continue that in the future. The 5 pilot partners, different partnership again, delivery partners, doing all the real work basically, doing all the recruiting and the training of volunteers and delivering services to the older people that matter so much to all of us in the room. The 6 new delivery partners who are here at Macmillan for the first time today, who don't know what's about to hit them really, but they will soon learn. They've had quite a stiff introduction this morning. And whether they'll all come back after today, I'm not sure, but I hope so. 7 strategic partners we have on board working with us, because although we've done well in our pilot, we recognise that we want to break some new ground, and we need to develop new tools to help us to be more effective with the COPA project. So we're looking at working with AGK Camden, for example, who are undoubtedly experts in their field when it comes to OLGBT people, and we want to branch out and learn how best to support that group of people who are affected by cancer. We're working with Helen Sanderson Associate to help us develop national impact measurement tools. An ongoing thorn in the flesh of the advocacy community is us constantly being charged with the lack of evidence for advocacy as having an impact on the people we try and serve. All of us in this room know that it works, because we know we're helping people, because they tell us so. But sadly, we still haven't got yet the right tools, certainly not at national level, to persuade the academics, the policy makers, and last but not least, the funders, that advocacy does actually work for a wide range of people that we try and support. We have strategic partners helping us to further develop our national database, which will help us in turn with the impact measurement tools. Also on board, we have 5 new resource and development partners. These are going to play quite an important part in the COPA project, because although they're not delivering, we aim to produce a great long list of outputs, which I'll come on to a bit later on in the next 3 years. And we need those outputs consulted around, tested. And the things I'm talking about are things like training programs, impact measurement tools, quality standards. So we need our resource and development partners to take those tools, work with them, and tell us how they can be improved before we claim that they are good enough for the whole advocacy community, if you like, serving older people. We obviously, other partnerships are local and national cancer champion boards, which you've heard about. But primarily, the lead that runs through the pencil of this particular project is obviously that one-to-one partnership between the older person that needs some support and another older person that's been trained to deliver that support. So that's the key partnership in the whole of this project. So I hope that tells you a little bit about why partnerships are so important to OPAL, so many different levels of partnership. And everybody pulling together. And the reason it works is because everybody works together at every different level of these partnerships. Okay? Not known for blowing my trumpet, today I'm taking the opportunity to do just that, because it just isn't every day we get £1 million. So, and on behalf of all those partnerships, these are some of our achievements. We have recruited and trained and supported 56 older people affected by cancer to become advocates. We've provided peer advocacy support for 176 older people, which is 26 more than our target that we set ourselves. We've recruited 63 local and national cancer champions who have been very influential in directing the services. With Macmillan's support, we've produced and published stories of older people affected by cancer and the volunteers, many of which have been published on our blog. We've published the book that's on the table in front of you just recently of 13 stories, which I hope will help us open many more doors and create many more networks and many more partnerships, particularly with our health colleagues. We've developed, and we are still developing, the first Macmillan National Helpline referral process. Some more achievements. We've set up and run our blog, kicking and screaming most of the way. All of us were social media infants, really, until we were trained a couple of years ago. And many of us have now really taken the bull by the horns and run with this thing called social media. So we have what we can now regard as quite a successful project blog. We've had lots of posts, lots of views, as you can see up there. We also run a Twitter account, and which is thanks to Marie. I have to mention Marie. Where's Marie? She's over there hiding in the corner, but Marie's our prime #1 tweeter, and she's responsible for lots of people learning more and more about the project. More achievements are that we're cementing our partnership with Macmillan almost on a daily basis. So Macmillan were responsible for making sure that the pilot was extended from December last year to March this year, which was a vital support that we needed, so that we didn't have to stop and start any of these projects before we learned the outcome of the Silver Dreams flagship bid. They have supported at a local level 3 of our pilot partners to secure 3 years continuation funding, and that's worth over £825,000. They are supporting the flagship project with a tune of £310,000 over the next 10 years. We have achieved an additional £1 million from Big Lottery. A few more achievements. We've had Big Assist funding, which is another funding stream from Big Lottery, to help us develop a national advocacy costing model. This was actually quite important, because any of you that works with small voluntary sector organisations will appreciate that they don't always share the same way of doing things, particularly financial things. So the opportunity to put in place a national costing model was one that we couldn't miss, and it's very, very important. It's important to this project because it's underpinned all the thinking and all the financial thoughts behind a £1 million bid. We have introduced and adapted a national database to capture, for the first time nationally, the outputs that we're achieving in terms of our advocacy services. We have set up a foundation programme last year, which enabled us to work with 15 organisations to prepare them to deliver this service in the future, 6 of whom are joining us on this particular phase, and we will still be fundraising for those other partners to join us further down the line. Our partners have attended over 70 events in 18 months, conferences and talks. They have presented well-received workshops at Cancer Voices, Macmillan Cancer Voices Conference year on year. We have had... That's it. That's our achievements. Sorry, I'm running out of breath now. That's our achievements. That's some of our achievements. It's not all of them, but it's some of them. And what we have up here now, and I like to move on to, is the COPA, the new £1 million well, 1.310 million pound partnership. So this is our cancer advocacy partnerships. I don't know if you can see the diagram here, but it's worth just spending a moment or two just trying to explain how we're going to move this work forward. OPAL, as you can see, is in the middle there. And if we start at the top left-hand corner, you get a list of our strategic partners. On top of that list is Macmillan Cancer Support. And then you have Age UK Camden, which I've already mentioned, which will be helping us with our OLGBT work. Red Design are the strategic company that built the database and will continue to develop the database. Toucan are the external evaluators from the pilot programme. WebEnable, I'm delighted to say, are in the room with us. WebEnable are the people that create all the films for OPAL and photographs to enable us to publicise our work more widely. Helen Sanderson Associates are the company that are going to be working with us, helping us to develop impact measurement tools, which are going to be so important down the line, to provide this evidence that is so badly needed to show that advocacy works. And Peter Stone Associates is one of our partners that helped us with the financial modelling. So they're the strategic partners that bring into the project a specific area of expertise that we don't yet have ourselves. If we move down to the next oval, if you like, we have our new delivery partners that are with us here today. So we have Sefton, Pensioners Advocacy Centre, who was one of the pilot organisations, and I'm really pleased to say is now joining the COPA project. We have Age UK Bristol. We have Knowsley, Pensioners Advocacy and Information Service. We have Oxfordshire Advocacy. We have Independent Community Advocacy Network North, and we have Sandwell Advocacy. These partners will all join us as delivery partners, doing exactly what the pilot organisations did, only they are better resourced, I have to say, than the pilots were, because that was one of the key lessons we learned. We didn't put enough resources, really, into the pilot organisations. If we go to the oval in the middle, just above OPAL, we've got parallel partners. These, in the main, are a new partner from Wales, Age Connect Cardiff, which is funded directly by Macmillan through OPAL. And then we've got the three of our pilot partners that were successful in securing local funding. So those four pilot organisations, three pilot organisations and a new organisation from Cardiff, sorry, will be running their projects parallel to ours, so that they will be able to help us. They have a coaching function with the new organisations to make sure that they roll out their service, having learned all the lessons that we've learned from the pilot, basically. The oval in the top right are the resource and development partners. And these partners joined us last year as part of the foundation programme. So they've done quite a lot of the training for Macmillan, about Macmillan and about the pilot. They've learned a lot about the pilot, and they are sort of next in line as delivery partners. But in this project, this is the important group of partners that will be looking and testing all the outputs that the project produces. So if we move down now around to the right, you've got the National Cancer Champion Boards, which we're looking to expand. Local Cancer Champion Boards beneath that. Then you have a new board that we're looking to bring together. And these are national retired health professionals. These are going to be really important to this project, because like many of our colleagues, and many of our Silver Dreams colleagues, we too have experienced difficulties engaging with health. Many of our colleagues, other recipients in Silver Dreams, had the same problems. So what we're trying to do is get some of these people on board to help us open some doors locally for health referrals. And the last one is the National Project Management Board, which is now, of course, expanded to include 10 people. So this is what the new project looks like. A lot of resource and a lot of expertise. If we move on to look what we're trying to achieve, not many more now, 2 more slides and then I've finished. What we're trying to achieve with the new project are to get the new Retired Health Professionals Board up and running and effective in terms of opening doors to health, both nationally and locally. We want to extend the work of the National Cancer Champions Board. Our strategic partners will help us focus on developing quite a lot of outputs, just some of which are mentioned here, which are the new measurement tools that I mentioned earlier, the further development and expansion of SAM. SAM is a database, System for Advocacy Management. We want to make sure we're targeting OLGBT people affected by cancer, and we'll rely on Age UK Camden to help us with that. We want to see greater Macmillan, even greater Macmillan involvement, certainly at local level with all our new partners, but also at national level. And we want to create 10 films during the course of 3 years. Because we know from past experience that when you have a film in front of you or a storybook, these have such an impact on the reader or the viewer of that film in terms of people learning about what advocacy can and does do for older people. We also aim to develop our resource and development partners. We will recruit and train 300 volunteer advocates, work with 195 local cancer champions, create new partnerships with health and CCGs in particular up and down the country. Over the 3 years we aim to support 1,500 older people affected by cancer with the minimum of 12,000 hours of support. Then that's an average of around 8 hours each. We will develop a coaching and advisory service for new projects, publish a good practice guide for advocacy support for OLGBT, and publish 300 advocacy stories. These will be published in a wide range of media, from the blog to hard copy to books and so on. So those are the main aims of the COPA project. That's it. I don't think I've got another one, only the contact one now. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Macmillan in particular for hosting us. It's been a bit of a jumble, and I know very hard work for them. We had to, when we arrived here today, we had to turf out about 45 people that were in here working, and we did that. Macmillan staff did that very nicely, and I just want to thank them because they've been so supportive all the way through. Those are contact details. You can contact us either directly or via the blog or via the website. And last but not least, via the Twitter account, and Marie. Okay, so thank you very much.